Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to It's Doomsday Podcast, another grid down episode. Joining me today is local prepper. What's going on?
Just another day in the neighborhood.
All right, so what we're going to cover on today's exciting episode of the It's Doomsday Podcast is random power outage preps and different things we're doing for the power outage. Now, I'd like to start off with saying that there's a lot that we're not going to be able to cover all in one episode, but just some random things that we have in the event of power outages. Do you want to start off first, LP, or should I go?
I'd go first.
Okay,
I'd go first.
You go first.
I think probably the number one thing is the ability for you to generate your own power. I'm personally a solar guy. I'm personally a Jackery guy. As soon as the power goes out, as long as I know that it's going to be out for a little bit of while, I just immediately grab the Jackeries and start plugging them into the things that I know are going to make my life better. And then obviously having the ability to recharge those. So make sure you've got your solar panels, this, that, and the other thing. But, I've made a lot of videos about how the power, real world out here in the Eastern Shore of Virginia, the power goes out quite a bit. There's one relay station that's here on the shore, but the power comes normally from either across the bay or up from in Maryland someplace. It's like a mythical thing. It just appears here. But when it goes out because of the wind, because it gets kind of windy here, then it could be out for a while. So just plug in the Jackeries and, start, turning the computers back on and whatever it is. That I would say that's probably my number one prep, just to kind of keep me and my family, our standard of living, our standard of life, and just to keep that going.
So to summarize, essentially, the Jackeries to remain comfortable and have the creature comforts.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, with communications, everything is the internet today. So I just plug it into my internet. Just because the power went out doesn't mean the internet. Doesn't mean your hardwired internet is out.
Right, and that's half the reason I have the Starlink now. Once we got hit with the hurricane here, and we were just cut off from the world for over a week, I was like, okay, I'm done. We're getting a Starlink.
Yep, exactly.
So oddly enough, my biggest concern when the power goes out is the inability to see at night. That's my first cause of concern, the inability to see at night. I'd say the second would be I need electricity to run my water here.
Yep, I was about to say I have the same problem at the property. Go ahead.
So anyway, that's my secondary thing, is having running water, because you still got to flush the toilet. The kids are still going to want a glass of water. There's being able to see in water are the two primary concerns for me. And then I would say the next concern is heat, because we have electric heat here. So that's a concern. Mm-hmm. So something we'll talk about on another episode is backup heat sources, which I have a lot of in the event of power outages. And then the thing that would come next would be the communications for me. And then it would be all the creature comforts, the TV, the refrigerator, things like that.
I gotcha.
So yeah, you mentioned the Jackeries. We have a couple. Well, we have 3 solar generators as well, 2 of which are an off-brand, and then one decent little Blue Eddy, which you've seen these.
Yeah.
But we also have the gas backup generators as well. Mm-hmm.
What about when you start talking about the heat? What about the kerosene heaters? Do you use those?
Oh, okay. So I'll skim over this real quick. All the heating apparatus. Okay.
Okay.
So we have 3 of the little buddy heaters with the extension hoses to hook them up to the 20-pound grill propane tank. So we have 3 of those. We have one multi-fuel torpedo heater that I primarily just buy kerosene for, and that can run off a very low power source because it's only igniting and running a fan. So I could run it off the solar generators or et cetera, whatever fuel gets put in it, and it puts out a ton of BTUs. And I find myself using that a lot in the winter just in general to thaw out things around the property. And then additional heat source, we have the kerosene, like, you know, like the old school kerosene round heaters, you know.
Yeah.
We have one of those brand new in the box with a stock of kerosene just in case. So, and then if things absolutely, you know, worst came to worst, like it's getting bad, I have a propane fireplace that I could bring in the house and plumb in real quick. That's ventless, so it's fine. And then we also have an actual wood burning stove that is not plumbed in at all. However, if I needed to use it outside for the event of like just keeping a fire going, heating water, drying things out, I would have the ability to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's great. With the you know, I'm a big proponent of the kerosene heaters. I kind of grew up with those 100-year-old houses that basically barely even have, you know, up to standard power outlets. It's just an old house, you know, and those kerosene heaters they're like, I've seen them heat like almost entire houses. And so it's I think they're lifesavers. I think it's great that you have one, because that thing right there, when all else fails, just fill it up, light it, carry it back into your house, and, you know, and it's going to do the job. It's going to put out more heat than you could possibly need in a tiny house.
Right. And that was, I guess the standard for us as far as that kerosene heater went is it's purely for emergency purposes. So whatever I could do to get around the idea of needing to use it is what I'm going to do first. Like when all else fails, like all the gasoline generators are out, everything's just done, I have no other options, boom, then we'll get into the kerosene heater and bringing that in and setting it up. And the main reason is, and that the reason why it's a last case scenario, clean white kerosene is very, very expensive. Okay. And kerosene has a shelf life that's almost indefinite.
Yep.
So when you have that clean kerosene, you could stockpile that and you could have that around for a very, very long time. But the problem is you're paying upwards of like $20 a gallon for that. So you don't want to burn through $100 stockpile in a week running this thing, you know. So that's why it's purely for emergencies.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so far we haven't had to use it yet. So there's that. So I have other things in the realm of the power outage too.
Yes. What is on your list for today?
Okay. So, all right. Like I said, initially, my first concern is the ability to see. All right.
Okay.
So the exterior of my house is outfitted with solar motion lights. That's the number one thing. Okay. If I need to go outside and complete a task, go to a vehicle to get something, I have some sort of background lighting that's rechargeable by the sun and is kicking on when I need it. That's the one thing. The other thing is interior of the home have a lot of oil lamps. I have an oil lamp in every room. Okay. And this is in the event that, you know, power's out, batteries are dead, I'm running out of options, I'm putting up the oil lamps. And the shelf life of the oil is very long as well. So it's good. And the lanterns are cheap. They're really inexpensive. You know, you can go out and get, you know, 10 of these things for a low amount of money to be able to illuminate places throughout your home. The only problem with these things is they stink. They put off fumes and it permeates the air.
What kind of fuel are you using in it?
I'm just using a regular lamp oil.
Is it clear or is it pink?
No, it's clear.
That's
so
interesting.
it's because it's such a small space that I'm in.
Yeah.
That it just fills up very quickly with the fumes from the oil lamps.
So you need a bigger house. Okay, gotcha.
Right, need a bigger house. But, you know, in the event that it's summertime and there's a power outage and we've got all the windows open anyway, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. We also keep a metric shit ton of tea light candles around.
Okay.
Right, and it's for a few different reasons, but the main one being like, okay, low light conditions. We don't want to have the kids just run all the flashlights to be depleted down to nothing But a couple of tea lights in an old tuna fish can, you now have a safe candle that they can traverse the house with and kind of set down anywhere, and you don't have to worry about knocking it over or getting wax anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I found this to be a very helpful thing. Just, 2 tea lights in this tuna fish can, put it in the bathroom. You can see to wash your hands. You can see you're not going to miss and pee all over the floor. Like, just that little thing makes a difference.
Yeah, most definitely. It's very simple, but it's very effective.
Right. We also have went on to, and we have purchased the emergency power outage light bulbs that have a battery backup within them.
Those things are awesome. I have them all over my house.
Right. And the cool thing about them is, and some of you out there might not know this, you can unscrew them and hold them in your hand. And as long as you're making that connection with your palm and your fingers, you can use it like a flashlight.
Yep.
And you could do like the cool Uncle Fester tricks and put it in your mouth and walk around with a glowing light bulb.
Yeah.
So they're very, very handy. And the only issue I have with them is they're not great for every room because they don't, in my opinion, they do not kick enough light.
Oh, okay.
But if it's like, bathroom, just need to get a light on, hallway, something like that, like in the event that the power is out, that switch is still going to come on. You're going to have something, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get into the various copious amounts of flashlights and headlamps we have around here. It's
almost like an addiction at a certain point where you stand back and go, what am I doing?
So I'll tell you what, I have a big problem with thinking that every task requires a different flashlight. So I have flashlights for work. I have flashlights for water conditions. I have a specific spotlight I take outside with me at night. I have like 6 headlamps by the door, all pre-charged. I have flashlights for doing like the security details I do. I've got diving flashlights. I have all these freaking flashlights.
Okay.
A special one I keep next to the bed, one that I let the kids use. There's a lot of flashlights around the house. Mm-hmm. And it's because, and I'll tell you what, for whatever reason why, when something goes wrong here on the property, it seems to be consistently at night. Mm-hmm. Okay, so with that being said, if I have to go out and work on the well pump, or there's a water leak or whatever, it's always at nighttime. So I think that may be where some of this low light having to be able to correct this pretty quickly has came from. And
go ahead.
I even went as far as going out and buying 2 of the brightest work lights that Harbor Freight sells, like the ones on the tripod, the big bright work lights. And I bought the LED ones because they require some pretty low wattage, so I can run these off the solar generators. So if I really need to illuminate an outside area and we have a power outage, I still have the capability to do that. I don't know when I would ever need to or in what purpose I would need to, but I could.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
Yeah, well, I think it also comes down to a lot of it's like, okay, so the well pump just went out. Now you've got to hump it down or drive down to the point where something's probably wrong with it. And in the past, you've used like this little bitty light, and it was cumbersome or whatever. So now and then that's when you start to build out these little kits. It's like, hey, if I'm going there, I need this, and I know that. That way, I don't have to trek back up to the house. So it's actually pretty smart, My solution for everything, I've got all the headgear. I've got, I've pretty much got every flashlight known to man. And companies just keep sending them to me. One just showed up today. Wow. And the fail safe, the never failed me flashlight, not a joke. The dollar, I think they're $1.25 now. The $1 Walmart camping flashlights. I have them everywhere. They're like in every room, next to every door, and they just work every single time. I think they're like 300 lumens, but I just have them in stupid little spaces over by in the water closet. I just keep one in there hanging on the wall just because.
So you're talking like the little barrel styled ones that take like 3 AAAs.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
But
so I have
nothing,
I have an ammo can full of those because I was out somewhere one day, like a farm supply store or something, and they had a deal on them. It was like 10 for $5 or something, like 50% off. And there was a bunch. And I was like, oh man, these would be a great barter item. So I bought a bunch of them and stuffed an ammo can full of them. And Took all the batteries out, so they wouldn't corrode and stuff in there. They're just hanging out in that ammo can, just waiting for that rainy day of when I have to pass out flashlights to the kids.
They're waiting for the apocalypse.
They're waiting for the apocalypse. So something I do want to talk about just a little bit here, a thing that I found to be a great prep, and I didn't realize until we got whacked with the hurricane how invaluable this tool is. Mm-hmm. So it's fair to say everybody that listens to this show probably has a power tool somewhere laying around their house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so power tools have, rechargeable batteries. So DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee, the major brands here, they now have AC power outlets, little converters that slap right onto those batteries.
Wow.
And I had purchased one for my Milwaukee batteries, and they're very low wattage. I think they're like 125 watts or 150 watts. They're very, very low. Okay. But what we had found out was this is an absolutely invaluable tool during power outages, because if you want to charge your phone, boom, there you go. You want to charge a radio. You want to recharge a headlamp. It's got one AC outlet with a few USB-A's on it. So you can plug in multiple things and charge multiple things off this, and it's portable. So this can go with you. So if you got to run to work and power's out at work and home, this can go with you to make sure that at least your phone's staying charged up at work.
Yeah.
And that was something we found to be very, very invaluable that we actually used the crap ton out of in one prep that we have that my wife absolutely loves, because this gave her own dedicated power outlet next to her nightstand when we didn't have power for a week.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So
it's pretty smart.
Yeah. So for those of you out there that have the power tools, man, they literally sell them for all the major players, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita. I'm sure that there might be some Amazon brands for the other off-brand tools, like Northern Tool has a version of tools called like Flex. I think they might have them for those. Walmart's got the Hart brand. There might be one for the Hart brand. I'm almost 100% positive that they have one for Harbor Freight's tools, the Bauer brand. Mm-hmm. So if you have these tools and you're like, I'm looking for something cool to add to my prepper power outage arsenal, get one. You will not be sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty ingenious. When you're looking for power, it's just this. Oh, by the way, I charge my drill and use it once ever. Right. That kind of thing, and it's just this power source that's sitting there waiting for you to be used in an emergency.
Right, and the thing I think that's really cool about it, like I have a crap ton of power tools, so I got a crap ton of power tool batteries, and what I come to find was I keep these things topped off all the time. I've got a big bag that all my batteries go in, and I rotate them out, and I charge one, put a new one in, or whatever. So I've got a lot of power there that needs to be converted and used. And that's like, if there's a power outage, what better thing to do? And then the beauty of this is, if you've got your solar generators out during the day, getting topped off, you can recharge all of your batteries for the nighttime. Mm-hmm. And then boom, that power source is ready to go again. And it's like having a miniature solar generator, but it's not a solar generator that's recharging. Mm-hmm. So it's become a pretty invaluable tool.
Nice.
That's all I got to say about that. What else you have that's a weird power outage flex?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that most people don't really think of. They normally think of like how to generate light, heat, or power. Right. But they don't really think about the necessities of doing that. Maybe like, a heavy duty extension cord or extra power strips, 50 to 100 feet long, basically something that could be like rated to run from a generator. Cause that thing puts out some amps right there.
Oh yeah.
Or even just, a regular power station. And one that's not going to melt is preferable. Right. And then simpler stuff, things that people don't really think about are associated with being power outages is maybe basically non-electric kitchen items, a French press, a percolator, maybe a coffee grinder if you grind your coffee, or even cast iron cookware, because it's not too smart if you're going to try and cook off a fire to try and put some of the modern cookware in it that's not all metal. Those handles tend to melt. Also, smaller items like P38 can opener, or even invest in like an industrial hand can opener, one that's like can open giant freaking cans, and you don't have to worry about it ever breaking.
Right.
I think that those are probably some smarter things to have. In the summertime, maybe make sure that you have some coolers. That way, you at least have the ability to try and keep things cool that you can. That obviously that leaches into other things, like if it's water cooled or whatever,
Right.
But yeah, things like that. And obviously don't forget your board games, your cards, your books. Basically activities not just for the kids but for adults. It's a good time to do some drinking too.
Right, it is. So you made my brain register some additional things that I hadn't thought about.
Okay, good.
So one thing is, it's a weird flex. I have a box fan for every window of my home in the event of power outages. Because I live in a tiny home, it heats up quick.
Yeah.
So we literally have a 20-inch box fan for every window of the house that we can run. Because they require like very little power to run.
Yeah.
So we have, typically how it works is we have one solar generator that we just kind of dedicate to the fridge. All right. And during the daytime, we don't usually have the generators running. We typically just run those at night. But the ability to take those solar generators and plug all these fans in and ventilate the house when it's 100 degrees out or 90 degrees out and you don't have any power. So that's one thing we did. Another thing we did is I have a tankless water heater in my house that requires 18,000 watts to operate. It's absolutely ridiculous. What I had done was I went out and bought a 120 volt, 12 gallon water heater. Okay. And the reason why I did this is because I can successfully run this off the lower amp, lower watt gas generators. So in the event that we have a power outage and I have to run the generators, I don't have this giant 18,000 watt water heater starving all the power. I can still successfully have hot water now. Yeah. And it was really interesting because we didn't realize it until we had a couple power outages that even my big, gigantic welder generator will not power that water heater. The best you're getting is lukewarm water. Yeah, it's drawing that much power. It runs on like 250, maybe it's 240 amp breakers is what that thing takes to run. And my 240 volt power outlet on my big machine is only running 50 amps. So it's not, it's not meeting the amperage requirements to power that water heater. The wattage is there. The amperage requirements are not. Yeah. Well, actually, I take that back. The machine caps at 11,000 watts and the water heater's 18,000. So it's both the wattage and the amperage. It won't do it.
I gotcha.
So we have a series of generators that we will use here. So we have the gigantic big generator that could run the stove, the dryer, like any big appliances in the house. This thing will power no problem, except for that water heater. That's the only thing it won't do. But the problem with that generator is it uses a ton of fuel.
I gotcha.
Okay, so we have a very small portable generator that's a generator inverter that'll do all the little things. It's super quiet, it's super economical, and it'll do the TVs, the refrigerator, all the little things, keep the lights on. It'll do all the little things you need to do. And then we've got one that's kind of in the middle ground of the both. It's a 30, I think it's a 35 or 4,500 watt. It's a dual fuel propane and gasoline. And for those of you out there that don't know, if you're prepping for your power needs, propane does not expire. Okay. It's indefinite. So you don't have to worry about stocking up on propane and having the propane go bad. Okay. So the beauty of that is if I'm running that generator and I burn through all my fuel and I've got a couple, 20-pound grill tanks laying around, I can connect up to one of those and just flip a switch on that generator and boom, I've still got power. So these are some things that you made pop in my head, just these weird off things. And another little project I've been working on that I have yet to complete, and I probably am just kind of putting it off now until I absolutely need it, is I had went out and purchased an RV water pump. Okay. And have been in the process of plumbing this into the house because that little tiny DC powered pump can run off the solar generator with no issue at all.
Yeah.
And are you going to get amazing water pressure to take a shower? No, but you're going to get a flow. You're still going to refill the hot water heater. You're still going to be able to flush the toilet. You're still going to get water coming out of the refrigerator, and you're still going to make ice.
Yeah. No,
So-
that's a pretty good hack. But I think those are cool. But what I always recommend people do if they're going to go that route is to get a water pump that is made for small boats. They come in various different sizes. They pack a punch, and they're insulated as well. So and they just run 12 volts, just like any DC system.
You're splitting hairs here, because the RV pump and the boat pump are pretty much the same pump.
They are. But if you go check out a site, a company called West Marine. They're pretty much the monsters in all things that are boating. And just kind of start going through their pumps, and you'll see pretty quickly that they can make some pretty powerful water pumps.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you're going to pay more, but the bottom line is that they're still DC. And you're going to get basically more bang for the buck. They can get expensive. Don't get me wrong, but at the bottom level, at the lowest level, like 1.5 gallons per minute, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's still going to outperform the stuff that is meant for RVs, and I really like the way their connectors are as well. So anyway, it's just my personal preference. I used to have a pretty good sized boat, and I've gone through a few of those pumps before I figured out what worked.
So just a prepper mistake I've made in the past, and I will tell you guys to not make the same one that I made in regards to this. So when we first got the homestead here, I had this tiny little cabin on the property that was meant to just hunt out of, but we ended up living out of it for a while. As I was coming up here to work on stuff and whatnot. And there was no power up here at the time. So we pretty much ran things off generators or little battery banks. We made things like that. And we wanted the ability to take showers. So we put in a propane tankless water heater, and we needed a water pump. And my thought was, why not get something that's DC powered? I had made the mistake of assuming that your pressurized sprayer DC pumps would be just as effective, if not better, than the boat or RV style pumps. And I can tell you that they're not, and you will burn them up.
Yep.
Because they are not designed for that consistent flow.
Mm-hmm.
They're designed to be stopped. They're designed for that pressure to kick on and shut it down. They're designed to be restricted. They're not designed to just be wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And I had burnt these up. So, you learn, you make mistakes along the way, and you do learn things. And that's one thing I learned about the sprayer pumps. Although they look the same, they are not. So there you go. Yeah. Living without power here for a little while was a very enlightening thing of what could go wrong and what you could have to deal with. And in the event you can't go to the gas station and get gas for your generator every day, you better get really creative. What else you got, or is that it?
Let me think. I think one thing we haven't talked about is maybe a carbon monoxide detector. If we're going to be burning anything indoors, we probably should have that.
Right.
There's a lot of even like the small butane heaters. You can run those on low for about 4 hours, which is really nice. But you still need to be able to detect whether there's carbon monoxide. And guys, and don't mount your carbon monoxide detectors up high. Mount them low. It's a heavy gas. That's a common mistake that I see. If you go into any like an RV, well, the carbon monoxide detectors are on the walls next to the floor. There's a reason.
Right. Well, there's a secondary reason for that too, because I believe that's also to warn you of, like, that's an all-in-one system that also warns you of propane gas leaks.
Yep, that's another heavy gas.
Right, and propane's a low lane gas. Now, I would go off and say as well, like, if you're going to go through the extra work of adding in a carbon monoxide detector, I would also go ahead and just add a smoke detector in there as well. Just add that into your, shit hit the fan power outage preps.
Yeah, it should be in your house anyway. But
we have the ones that are installed in our house.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny too, because there's a lot of municipalities that are making smoke detectors mandatory, that they're wired into the house.
Right. Like ours are wired in with a battery backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how ours are. So we've got a smoke detector in every room of the house, and they're hardwired in, along with the battery backup. And for me, it's like I understand why, but it's the house I'm in is so small. When one goes off, they all go off.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's a total of 5 of them in the house, and it's an absolute nightmare when they're all going off at one, because they're not synchronized beeping at the same time either. So it's just this musical chaos taking place, and that's how I usually know when dinner's done.
Yeah, that sounds like a pain in the butt. You need a switch that turns everything off for when you cook.
Well, it's not when I cook; it's when my wife cooks.
Oh, I see.
So that's how, like, if I'm outside, that's how I know when dinner's done. I hear the alarms going off in the house.
Okay.
I get something to eat. Yeah, but so I mean, I don't know. For the most part, that's most of the things that I've done, like these weird oddities for the power outages. Other than like other random solar powered things I have outside and solar that I have stashed away for that, shit hits the fan scenario, that's about all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really did cover a lot. I mean, there's other things. You could say a chainsaw, you could say all sorts. You could talk about 1,000 little baby batteries. I think every prepper kind of starts that way to an extent. Wood stoves. That's kind of like a give me if you've got it. Maybe or maybe like a hand crank radio or something like that. It's got all the AM FM NOAA stuff on it.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things. Well, here's a great prep. Maybe just live completely off the grid so you don't have to worry about power outages.
Right. That's also another thing. So you made something else register, and I swear this is the last thing I have.
Okay.
So you mentioned, the 1 million little batteries. Well, I, for years, have been building a stockpile of rechargeable batteries. And I had come to find that the biggest pain in the ass is recharging all these batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you got to plug them into the wall, then you got to wait for 4 of them to charge at a time, and all of these things. Right. So I had recently discovered everything's moving to USB-C now. Like every new product that's getting designed, that's getting charged, is getting charged with the USB-C.
Yep.
And I now discovered Rusty Shackelford told me that Costco has them, and then a couple other people sell them as well, are rechargeable batteries that hook up to a USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a USB-C port on the side, they plug in, and you can plug these things into that little jump pack for the Milwaukee battery. You could plug them into the solar generator. You can do all these things. So what I have noticed, and it's kind of a crapshoot, but I've been buying the rechargeable batteries for years, and I use them and add and use them and add and use them and add more, and they eventually do die. They're not a forever purchase. They're not a forever item.
Yeah, especially the older ones.
Right. And what I found out is Rayovac, that particular brand, is not worth a shit when it comes to buying their rechargeable batteries. You'll get a handful of recharges out of them, and then they're usually dead.
Mm-hmm.
The Energizers, in my opinion, are far superior. But we are currently looking into having a larger stockpile of batteries and then moving away from the Energizers. And, as they die off, we're going to start replacing them with the USB-C rechargeables.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly because of the idea is I don't have to have something necessarily dedicated to recharging these batteries.
Yeah.
So as long as I got power coming from anywhere and I could put a USB-C into it, I'm recharging these batteries.
Yeah.
So there's that. Unless you want to run everything off 18650s, if you're one of those guys.
No, I'm definitely not one of those guys. That is for sure.
No. I have a few of the 18650 items, and I found them to be both awesome and a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, that streams from the tactical generation, but they're kind of useless.
Well, it becomes a problem when you can't readily available, like you can't go to Walmart and buy 18650s.
Yeah. And if you lose your charger for them, then you're screwed.
Right. So I had went out and actually purchased some of the Streamlight 18650s because those are rechargeable with a mini USB.
Uh-huh.
So for the things I do have that run the 18650s, I do have a handful of rechargeable batteries that I can utilize in the event I lose the 18650 charger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know who thought that shit was a great idea.
Yeah, like I said, that was formerly a military battery, and that's where it came from.
All right. Well, listen, that's about all I got in the realm of power outage. You got anything else
I do
before we're out of here?
I do not.
All right. Well, everybody that's listening to the show, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We will catch y'all on the next one.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.